Fellas, do you have time? We need to talk about this. You know, sometimes when you have a problem or people have a problem, you give it attention. Then the more people don't talk about the problem that they have, you tend to forget and you think the problem is resolved. But it's not. Well, Russia, we need to talk about Russia today because it's very urgent. It just conducted another nuclear-powered missile test. Why? Because NATO a couple of days ago conducted drills on a nuclear level. We need to talk about this. What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Thank you very much for stopping by. Can I ask you to do this? Can we all do this, please? It costs you nothing. We feel appreciated. We have to talk about this. I mean, it is happening, and I think people don't pay attention to it. So Russia, in less than a week, has conducted another nuclear test on a missile that is horrendous. It's called the Poseidon nuclear drone. Just days later, Russia tested the Poseidon, a nuclear-powered underwater drone capable of carrying nuclear payload. President Vladimir Putin claimed that the drone is uninterceptable, can dive deeper, and travel faster than any submarine, and can reach any continent. This needs your attention. I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to understand what's happening in the world.
For the first time, we succeeded not only in launching it from a submarine using its booster motor, but also in igniting the nuclear propulsion system, which the vehicle used for a certain period of time. This is a tremendous success.
Poseidon is designed to trigger underwater nuclear explosion and potentially causing radioactive tsunamis near coastal cities. You live in New York, right? Miami, yes. Now, you know what a tsunami is? This is a tsunami. Okay, now imagine a tsunami that has radioactive energy. That is the most deadliest thing you can possibly think about. Now, Poseidon is designed to explode underwater and create a radioactive wave near any coastal post. I mean, if you were looking for anything that you cannot survive on, this is the one. Western leaders, including US President Donald Trump, condemned the test as provocative and destabilizing. Obviously, you know, whenever they conduct something, it's fine. When it's anybody else, it's provocative. Now, what do analysts say? We're talking about experts in military. They say such weapons could bypass traditional missile defense system, altering strategic balance. So basically, in the sea, there are offensive weapons and defensive weapons. Defensive weapons are there to scan, to see what's up, to hear any presence of any objects that's dangerous and counteract. Now, this can beat anything that's underwater. Now, remember a couple of days ago, we spoke to you about the Burevestnik. That's the most dangerous missile Russia has ever produced. A few days ago, Burevestnik being a nuclear-powered cruise missile capable of flying 15 hours and covering 15,000 kilometers. So Russia had developed, just a couple of days ago, tested Burevestnik flying 15 hours on air and achieving 15,000 kilometers. That's about 7,700 miles. So this missile can stay airborne for a few days if they want it, then hit any target at any awkward position. Now, why would Vladimir Putin be doing this? I mean, this is crazy. He seemed to be the person looking for peace. And also, Donald Trump, remember, a while back, was condemning his predecessor, saying that he didn't know how to deal with Vladimir Putin. Had he been president of the United States, then the war in Ukraine would have never happened.
Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him, I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled.
He also said that he would finish the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. Now, what has occurred? What has changed? We'll talk about that just now. But first, it is believed that Putin is using this demonstration to pressure the United States into extending the New START Treaty in February. Yes, the New START Treaty is a treaty signed between America and Moscow with the goal of preventing something. We're going to explain that. START Treaty is a series of bilateral agreements between the US and the Soviet Union, later Russia, aimed at reducing and limiting strategic nuclear weapons. They were all supposed to only have a maximum of 1,550 nuclear heads deployed. not beyond that. Obviously, they had an understanding where they would check on each other, check one another, and report to each other on what they're doing. Now, that treaty was violated by one of them, and you know which one it is. And now Vladimir Putin is just reminding them who is the most powerful country in terms of nuclear power. Now, I think we need to look into some very important things here so we can understand the timing. I mean, 2 nuclear missiles tested within 7 days. What is happening that you don't know about? Because if you need to flex your muscles like that, I mean, you could flex one muscle. Flexing 2 big muscles within a week, you're definitely trying to send a message. That's very clear. Are you trying to deter somebody from doing something? Well, we know that NATO's been doing some training a couple of days ago. Drills, nuclear drills. And that is very dangerous. You probably have not heard about that, right? You haven't. Russia has promised to deploy the Orychnik in November. That's one of the fastest missiles capable of carrying 6 different nuclear warheads, dangerous weapon. Russia has also announced the combat deployment of Sarmat missile. You know, Satan 2. You heard about that. Now, you need to understand also the timing. Why is this happening right now? Let me just remind you that a couple of days ago, there was a collapse of talks between the US and Russia. They were supposed to meet in Budapest to find a solution about Ukraine. Now, what's happened to that was Russia had requirements, before they have any ceasefire. America wanted Russia to have ceasefire immediately with no conditions. Russia said before we have ceasefire, we need to view the conditions and respect them in order to avoid what's happening in Gaza right now. They just had a ceasefire with no conditions met, and even though they have a ceasefire, people are still being unalived. So Russia feels like having a ceasefire without meeting the condition will be a way of allowing Ukraine to regroup and get more weapons, to get ready. You know, why would you have a ceasefire? Because Russia also believe that they are winning the war. If we are winning the war, why should we have a ceasefire which will not lead to anything permanent? So Russia actually wants things that are permanent. So what does Russia want? Russia wants Ukraine complete surrender. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reiterated that Moscow will not accept short-term ceasefire or anything like that unless Ukraine agrees to the term that amounts to full capitulation. No ceasefire. Either it's over or we continue fighting. Russia wants no temporary truce, meaning they insist that a long-term stable peace should be imposed. They reject the ceasefire. Russia also wants security guarantees from the US. They want a binding commitment from Washington that would limit NATO expansion and reduce Western military support to Ukraine. So in other words, they don't want Ukraine to be part of NATO at all, because NATO represents a danger to Russia's existence. So Washington should give them written consent, an agreement, commitment, saying we will not get Ukraine to be part of NATO and we will limit support, military support to Ukraine. Russia also wants recognition of territorial claims, meaning some of the land that's been conquered by Russia now in Ukraine should remain Russian before they get into ceasefire. Trump doesn't want that. Not just Trump, Europeans don't want that. That's why he's shot twice to show you I'm very capable. If you think my stuff are rusted, well, there you go. Now you know. Now, looking back, you have to remember that on May 1st, 2018, Putin announced that Russia possessed 5 different nuclear weapons capable of circumventing US defense system.
There is no defense system in the world today that can cope with subsurface vehicles.
And people laughed at him. He says he's got 5 nuclear weapons capable of destroying the United States of America. Well, now the claim appeared to be truth with all the testing. And again, when Orychnik was tested, former US National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster commented that the US will not have a response to that for at least 15 other years. This is somebody very clued up with what he's talking about. And also, Donald Trump prevision remarks about America's Golden Dome missile defense. This is something that America is trying to build to protect the USA against any attacks. It's very similar to the dome that Israel has, but this is supposed to be more advanced. Well, now, experts are making a mockery out of this with Russian missile tests. Now, what's the other thing that triggered this? Just remember a few days ago, US sanctioned Russian oil giants Rosneft and Lukoil.
There are massive sanctions and sanctions on oil. The 2 biggest oil companies, among the biggest in the world, but they're Russian. They do a lot of oil. And hopefully it'll push, hopefully he'll become reasonable, and hopefully Zelensky will be reasonable too.
These are the biggest Russian oil producing companies. They were not sanctioned yet. Now remember, even though they were at war against Ukraine, not Biden nor Europeans dare to sanction these 2 entities because they knew that's the bloodline of Russia. Well, Donald Trump has done it. Trump is a different kind of leader. He's got a massive ego, even very confrontational. So he has basically touched where everybody else has avoided touching. That's what it is, fellas. I think you need to reevaluate your position in the world. You know, when there's a war in the world, especially in Europe, they call it World War, right? When Europeans fight each other, the Germans fight the British, it's called World War. You know, when Africans fight one another, they call it tribal wars. So rather just come to Africa if you're somewhere in America, because trust me, this time around, they will not get Africans to get involved in their war. They can fight themselves over there and we can eat bananas and peanuts in the meantime. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. Please drop a comment. We want you to make a comment. It's always a pleasure. God bless.